And joining me now from Kyiv is Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. Foreign Minister Kuleba, welcome to Meet the Press, sir.
The pleasure is mine.
Let me start with yesterday's visit by the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, the symbolic walk through the center of town, the importance of the symbolism, but also what promises were made that you hope are carried out.
Well, I would say it's not only about symbolism, it's also about sending a message of confidence in Ukraine, in Ukrainian leadership, and in the Ukrainian army that is capable of defending the capital. And it's true to say that Ukraine won the battle for Kyiv. Now another battle is coming, the battle for Donbass. And of course, we are preparing to it, working with our partners to get all necessary weapons and basically everything that one needs to win a battle. And the United Kingdom has been taking the lead in working with us on the issues which we need the most, such as armored vehicles or shore-to-vessel weapons to contain the Black Sea fleet of the Russian Federation.
You know, earlier when this war began, the United States made a distinction between defensive weapons and offensive weapons. And you yourself even said you didn't understand the difference. We're defending our country. Any weapons here is being used to defend. But now that our Pentagon is saying Ukraine can win this war, what weapons do you need that we're not sending to help you win this war?
I don't think this difference that you mentioned still works for the United States. The United States has done more than any other country in the world to provide us with necessary weapons. However, some countries in Europe, like Germany, they still think in terms of defensive, offensive, so we have to work with them more on this. The problem with supplying weapons to Ukraine is that sometimes it comes too late. If we didn't waste a lot of time on discussing the issue of defensive against offensive and what Ukraine needs and what Ukraine doesn't, then we would have been in a different position now, in a much stronger position. So another issue that we have is the timeline of supplies. And when I met with Secretary Blinken in Brussels a couple of days ago, I made that point clear. I appreciate, and we, Ukraine, appreciate everything you are doing, but the timeline is crucial. Every day matters, and things must be supplied on a daily basis to strengthen our defense capabilities. We're working with the United States on a range of issues, including things like heavy air defense systems, right. And the supply of, and also I would like to mention that the United States are helping us in our relations with third countries to get weapons from them, weapons which we need. So this is a mutually beneficial cooperation.
Do you think your military alone, with all of this military supplies, can defeat the Russians? Or if you were a member of NATO, you'd be asking for more NATO troops?
Well, if we were a member of NATO, this war wouldn't take place. The strategic mistake that was made in 2008 by Germany and France, who rejected the efforts of the United States and other allies to bring Ukraine in, is something that we are paying for. It's not Germany or France that are paying the costs for this mistake, it's Ukraine. So the reality is that we know how to fight. We are capable. I believe it will not be an exaggeration to say that Ukraine proved to have one of the strongest army in the world, maybe the second strongest after the United States, not in terms of numbers, but in terms of the battle experience and capacity to fight. But all we need is state-of-the-art weapons of all kinds supplied to us. So we propose to the West and to NATO a fair deal. You provide us with everything that we need, and we fight so that you don't have to step up in the fight, into the fight when Putin decides to test Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, an attack of one of NATO countries.
The attack on the Kramatorsk train station, when you see what they did and targeting of civilians, it begs the question, I know you want peace. The president has talked about peace. Can you sit down and make peace with the Russians?
Listen, it's extremely difficult to even think about sitting down with people who commit or excuse or find excuses for all these atrocities and war crimes, who have inflicted such a horrendous damage on Ukraine. But I understand one thing. If sitting down with the Russians will help me to prevent at least one massacre like in Bucha, or at least another attack in Kramatorsk, like in Kramatorsk, I have to take that opportunity. Whatever I feel, if I have the chance to save a human life or a village, a town from destruction, I will take that chance.
The Russians apparently are appointing a new general, Alexander Dvornikov, and the assumption is he's going to do what he did in Syria, target more civilians, that this is going to be more brutal in the East. What message, what should NATO do to help you in response to this? And does this signal to you that the Russians want to fight you for months, if not years?
Well, let's go back to the very beginning of the war, when Russia's plan was to defeat entire Ukraine in something like 3 days. And so now they have this plan failed, obviously, and now they have another plan. But we have our plans, and history will demonstrate whose plan will prevail. So whatever Russia is planning to do, we have our strategy, and this strategy is based on the assumption that, on the confidence that we will win this war, and we will liberate our territories. Time is important, but we don't calculate how much time it will take.
The National Security Advisor to President Biden, Jake Sullivan, is listening to our interview right now. He's going to be on this program right after we conclude our talk. Do you have any message or question for him?
Well, I take the opportunity to send regards to Jake Sullivan, with whom we met in Warsaw a week ago when I was received by President Biden, and we had a meeting with Secretary Blinken in Austin. I think that the level of mutual understanding and the dynamics of our relationship, I mean, the United States and Ukraine, can bring a lot of good to the world and to Europe. So I think that I believe that we should open all doors, and Ukraine is ready to be a reliable strategic partner of the United States. But we need everything that Jake is perfectly aware of as soon as possible to put an end to this war, to restore the country, and to strengthen Euro-Atlantic security.
Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba in Kyiv today. Mr. Foreign Minister, appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.